Hey, what's up, guys? Uh-huh. I haven't put out a video in, I try to get one out at least once a week, so I can try to keep myself consistent and uh, not give this up like I have every other creative pursuit. Um, but I've been trying to rack my brain. I just haven't been able to I haven't had any ideas. I have been working on the cool terrorism video, although I have been busy switching around jobs and trying to get my finances in order so I can save some money. But so I haven't been able to do a ton of work on it because I'm also conflicted on whether or not I want to do um, switching between occasional visuals and a camera on me, or if I want to do something like, here, let me change this lighting because it's a little harsh white real quick. Um, or if I want to do, there we go. If I want to do, camera with occasional visuals, or if I want to do visuals only with a voiceover, which would be a lot more work and something I have zero experience in. But it would possibly be better. But I have worked on. I did some revision to the script. I still got to get through the final biggest section. But I did his life leading up to that point. So, and actually made it sound like I was speaking instead of just when I had originally written it. It had just been basically an essay. It would have made an okay article, but not how anybody talks. So, or at least not how I talk. I'm not sophisticated enough. I have the vocabulary, but not exactly how I speak. So, so not what this video is about, though. What I want to get into today, I was actually listening to, today I was listening to at work, I was listening to yesterday's episode of the Tom Woods Show, where he was talking about turning points and experiences in his life that turned him into a libertarian, which, of course, I already made a video about pretty much my path to libertarianism. But it gave me an idea about doing a video on my life becoming an agorist, and actually more accurately, how I've kind of always been an agorist and just naturally throughout my life. And because I was having a conversation with my roommates the other day, and my girlfriend, we were having dinner together in the kitchen, and it kind of brought me to this realization that I've always been naturally an agorist, just in my general life, not in even the subverting the state sense. So for those of you that don't know what agorism is, I would basically call it the ideology of better to ask for forgiveness than permission, almost. So basically, operating in black markets, gray markets, living your life the way you want to live it, regardless of what the laws are, right? So simply by smoking weed, that's agorism, because it's federally illegal. And even more so if you're in a state where it's illegal on a state level, that's agorism. You're buying it on a black market, no taxes, no no regulation. That's agorism. It's operating outside of the system, using cryptocurrency. That's agorism, especially not just using it as an investment, but using it to actually purchase things. That's agorism. And so I was having this conversation, and I came to the realization that I've always kind of naturally been an agorist. Um, so I think it comes down to two factors. Um, One is I'm a bit narcissistic, not to the point where I think I need like clinical intervention or something like that, therapeutic intervention. Um, it doesn't put significant strains on my personal relationships or work or anything like that. And actually, I would say it helps me succeed in that regard. Um, but I listened to that. I don't know if any of you heard that episode of the Joe Rogan podcast where he had a expert on narcissism come on, and one of the traits of narcissism apparently is not following other people's rules, basically doing whatever you want to do because you think you're better than everybody, basically. And I wouldn't say it's necessarily better than everybody, but I've always had the sort of feeling of I don't follow dumb rules. Um, I uh, I don't. Yeah, I don't follow dumb rules. If your rule is dumb and pointless and arbitrary, I'm going to try and not follow it to the absolute fullest extent that I can. Um, if it is somehow impeding in my life, obviously, I'm not just like breaking rules just for the. I mean, that is also cool too, but especially if they're dumb rules. Um, but the other thing was, um, I think my mom, because she came from a conservative family, and while maybe she was a little bit more liberal than her family before her, she still had a lot of those conservative values. Um, and she also, my mom struggled with anxiety and stuff like that, which she very openly talks about now. So I feel fine saying it. But she, growing up, like, I would pretty much never hang out with friends or have friends over or anything like that until I got a car, because basically every time it was like an interrogation or just a big situation. So I pretty much never had friends over or anything like that, and I didn't play, or I wouldn't play. I wasn't allowed to play violent video games there, and I was, as a child, I wasn't allowed. She wouldn't allow me to watch Cartoon Network. So I would say that's pretty absurd. She's one of those, like, those parents who are like, I don't let my kid watch SpongeBob because, like, it's a bad example for somehow. I don't know how they do the mental math on that one, but regardless, what that, the thing they say is strict parents just create sneaky kids. Well, in a similar vein, it basically taught me how to slowly push boundaries and push boundaries and push boundaries until I got my way, which is essentially the philosophy of agorism. It's the agorist strategy for political change, is basically just doing things the way you're going to do them until basically they can't stop you. This is also the sort of thesis of A Renegade History of the United States by Thaddeus Russell, where essentially his thesis is people who operate on the fringes of society, the drug dealers, the prostitutes, etc., are really the people who make things acceptable and push forward our freedoms. So, for example, the legalization of marijuana. The only reason marijuana is legalized in so many states already is people were just doing it anyways. And a lot of people, after doing it or knowing somebody who does it, realizes, oh, like, all those videos they showed you in school where, one puff and he takes a shotgun and blows his friend away or something like that, or jumps off a building. That's not actually anything like what marijuana actually does to you. So, yeah, it pushed the culture so far that basically whether or not it was illegal didn't really matter, because it was essentially unenforceable because there were so many people doing it. So I have a good story about this. Is one example from my high school age. I was dating a girl at the time, and so this was before I really had. This was the first time I started having people over to my house and my room. So initially, my mom was of the idea that I shouldn't have any girls in my room at all, ever. So, but at this point, I had gotten past that, and I was in high school and everything, and I was dating this girl, and so her new rule was I was allowed to have girls in my room, but I had to keep the door open at all times. Now, I've always been a guy who really values privacy, and at this point, I had already read the that I talked about in I think it was my first or second video, the one that's titled, that has like the dumbass title, Why I Left the Left. I talked about the book Little Brother, which is about a basically surveillance state out of control. And so I had already really developed my strong opinions on privacy and everything like that. And so I was like, screw this. So basically, as soon as she would go downstairs, because my room's upstairs. We were a 2-floor house. My room was upstairs. She liked to work down in the living room. As soon as she would go downstairs, I would close the door. And so she would keep opening it and keep coming back up and be like, I told you to open it, it needs to stay open, whatever. And on one occasion, we very much by chance, we were in the same, me and my girlfriend were in the same, my ex-girlfriend, we're in the same biology class at the time. And so by the slightest chance, we were studying biology when she came in, and so she opened up the door, and we were sitting there with like binders and schoolwork open, and she was like, oh, okay, and closed the door, and I never had to have that door open ever again. So yeah, I mean, this is just a short little video. I just kind of had the idea. I was thinking about it, and I need to put a video out, because if I don't, I'm just going to completely leave this thing to stagnate and languish. So, yeah, that's it. A shorter one for you guys. Have a good one.